Well, hey everybody, this is Tanner Mulvihill over at Bayfield Home Loans, and I'm joined today by a real estate superstar and the admin for the Rock Creek page, Teilor Burnett. Taylor, how are you today?
I'm great. How you doing, Tanner?
Oh, it's great to be back with you. And I love talking about Rock Creek because we always got something to talk about. And
my favorite community.
That's
like
right.
I love Rock Creek.
Price points just keep moving this way. And so for all the homeowners in Rock Creek that watch our videos, hey, it's a good time to be a homeowner in there. And if you're a renter in there right now, you need to become a homeowner in there. So let's do it.
Guys, the equity in this neighborhood right now is popping off. Like, it is insane, the amount of equity. I just, over the last weekend when we went to the market with my client's property, it went crazy, Tanner. It went nuts.
Well, hey, let's talk about that then. We're going to hop right into it. So we're going to hit up 1845 Jagged Rock Drive. And I know you know this one well because you got top dollar for your sellers. It hasn't closed yet, so we're not going to disclose. But tell everybody kind of a little bit what happened on this process once you took over and got this sold or got this heading towards the sale.
So I went in and, obviously walked through, helped the seller. Hey, let's come up with a plan, a marketing plan. Let's figure out what we're going to do to get you the top value. And, we went to the market. It had great feedback. I probably had about 50 people in there in 3 days. I had 12 offers. I ended up with 12.
12 offers. Holy cow.
Every single one of them were over ask. There were a few guarantee appraisals. I would probably say about 5 of them had about a guarantee appraisal on them, which...
Talk to the folks. What does that mean? What is guarantee appraisal?
So let's say the bank wants to come out and tell us that our house is only worth $375,000.
Yep.
But let's say I got something much higher than that. Well, if I can't get the bank to approve it for higher than $375,000, how's my seller going to get her number?
Yeah.
Well, they're going to get their number because the buyers are paying it in cash out of pocket to make sure my seller gets that number, no matter what the bank says.
Yep. Yeah. We talk about so much about curb appeal. We talk so much about making sure the pictures look great. And, this home was, it didn't have the most modern updates, but I just want to start for the folks, the example of what's working with you looks like, right? So I pull up to this property and right away, we have a nicely mowed green grass yard. We have the landscaping's on point. We're ready to go. I see a nice little touch here. We got some flowers.
Yeah.
So that's good. We got the flag in the yard. I'm already like, perfect. All right, let's take a look inside. Now, again, this property is a little bit older. So it all comes down, like, people don't understand, I think sometimes, and I know, there's a difference between real estate agents. There's a difference between loan officers. And those of us that are in the business know that, and folks might not out there know that. But just look at, here's the photos that you had taken of this property to get top dollar. So talk to us about it.
There's a huge difference in agents who are trying to move something and the difference between somebody who actually cares.
Yeah.
We knew going on the market that the flooring is original and it needs to be replaced. So we offered $8,000 to anybody coming in to offer to do so. None of my offers had that on them because it was so crazy. I did that for a reason. I wanted people to see that this house is turnkey and beautiful. It needs paint and flooring and call it a day.
Yeah.
But sometimes people can't get past that because all they see is dollar signs.
Right.
So they saw the amount of people in there. I let the other agents know I've got multiple offers in hand. You need to be competitive. Nobody asked for the $8,000.
Right. Yeah. So it's funny how that works. It's like the offer, and it's a strategic plan. The offer of, hey, we're going to give up this flooring allowance to get people to come in. But then what happens is everybody goes, oh, well, we want to go take a look. And then they look around. They're like, holy cow, there's like 15 people in this house right now with us. We have to be aggressive if we want to win.
I knew, Tanner, going to the market that I was not going to get anything with $8,000 on it because I marketed the home so low. It should be at $375. I did $365 because I wanted people to go crazy, and they did.
Yeah. So. I mean, that's what happens when working with somebody like you who lists a lot of properties, is a diamond producer. I can't stress to the folks enough how being a diamond producer in Hampton Roads, I mean, it's like the 1% of the 1%, right? So it's you're kind of a one of one. So
well, thank you. Yeah, it's hard work, but I know.
Make it happen. That's right. All right. So we're going to have the update for everybody what happened when you get a listing in the neighborhood and how it turns out for the sellers next month. Let's take a look at some of the other properties for the folks. Just keep everybody kind of up to date on what we got going on. So
I'll let everybody know next month, Tanner, what we got. We close at the end of the month, so I'll let everyone know.
Perfect. Yep. Okay. So let's go ahead and hit up. Let's see. So is this the high for the neighborhood right now? This 1708 Blue Lagoon Court that closed?
Is high. This is so high, but this house is huge, right? It's like 2,000 something square foot in front of it, which is big for Rock Creek. Like that's not what we're used to by any means.
Right.
And it's on the lake, so that helps.
Definitely. And that was one that we had talked about in the previous, one of our previous segments. So just for the folks, high in the neighborhood, 425, going to be a good comp for anybody that's getting ready to list their house. So that's a good one to be aware of. And let's see, we got a pending one here at 400, and this is 2024.
I love this one.
Whitewater Drive.
This one went higher than 400, Tanner. I know.
Okay.
Because they listed at 400. Buyers, when they're searching in the buyer pool, they go by increments of $25,000, typically 400,000, 425, 450. The agent put this at 400,000 to get all of those people. If they would have gone up to 405, 407, you're missing thousands and thousands of buyers by going up $5,000 to $7,000.
Interesting.
Why not do it underneath the buyer search criteria and get a bidding war going if need be? That's exactly what this agent did.
Smart. And it's interesting that you talk about the psychology of that, because if I'm looking for a property 375 to 400, the properties at 375 are not going to be as nice at the property at the 400 mark, right? And no different than if they listed this at 405 and I set my search criteria to 425, I'm going to be like, oh, well, it looks okay, but I like the ones at the 425. We always like the ones that are higher. That's how this works.
And my concern too is like a lot of times agents aren't explaining to their clients, and when they're taking them to properties at 400,000, and that's the max. Let's say they can't go past 400,000, and it's a turnkey property in Virginia Beach. It's not going for 400,000. I can assure you that. It will go higher because 9 times out of 10, we're in a housing crisis, I guess you can say, because our inventory, we have 2% inventory. A healthy market in Hampton Roads is 6 to 9% inventory.
Wow.
We're nowhere where we need to be. So this price right here is going to be much more because people are going to fight for it because there's no houses.
That's right. That makes sense. Yep. All right. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and talk real quick. Let me get my slide pulled up that we had chatted about a little bit offline for the folks, and I want to talk about second tier entitlement because I don't think everybody knows about that. So let me go ahead and get that pulled up for us here. All right. So Taylor, I don't think All right. Let's start with this. Give everybody a rundown on what you know about second tier entitlement. I'll fill in the blanks.
Okay. So what I know as an agent, obviously not my expertise, but when you buy a house and let's say you use your VA loan, just like this example right here, $275,000, you bought your first house, first time home buyer, maybe you're in there. It's working perfect. Maybe a little townhome. Great. We love it.
Yep.
When you have kids, you get married, you outgrow it, you need something bigger, but you got orders to stay here for another 4 years and you're not going anywhere. And you also don't want to sell that house because it's an amazing home. And 10 years down the line, you're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of it. Maybe they have 50 grand in equity right now. Good for them for wanting to rent it out. If they want to rent it out, they can. And then they use their VA loan all over again because you have a certain amount that the VA is going to cap you at. And right here, it says $806,000 is your cap. Mind you, that can be changed a little bit if you
if you put a little bit down, it's basically 25%, 25 cents on the dollar. So if we go over that 806 and you were buying for just 850, I mean, honestly, you're in for like $8 grand. So just to give people a ballpark. Yeah.
So if you're wanting to upgrade, use your VA loan all over again. There is no rules telling you that you can't use your VA loan. You just got to live in the home for 365 days. And let's go buy you another house.
That's right. That's right. I mean, and I think Rock Creek is just in a perfect example of that because we know of so many families looking in that price point and, rents in there are going, 26, 27, 25, 24 to 27 probably.
Got rented for $29.50 in here.
Or even higher, right? So you had that property that you bought 3 years ago, your interest rate when you got it 2.25, 2.5 on the low end. I miss those days, but they're right.
And then we don't have a healthy economy when we have rates like that. So I'm okay with where we're at. That means we have a healthy economy.
Good point. Good point. So then you're just going to go on to this next property, and I think you basically gave everybody the rundown. I don't really have much to add on that. So it's such a great opportunity though, because people, I think a lot of misconceptions are out there, like, oh, I can only use that if I'm going to like Fort Bragg, or I'm going out to wherever, right? It's not the case. You could buy a property like around the corner, as long as I can, as the loan officer can tell the underwriter, they're in this property right now, and now they're moving to this one because it's bigger, they have more kids, whatever. Yep. All day long. So you just can't go the other way.
Right? Like we can't get smaller. Like that that is something. Like if you're in a condo and you want to go into a little 1-bedroom house, like VA is going to be like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, they're going to be like, that doesn't sound quite right. So there's a few things that's going on in that. But yeah, so that gives the folks an idea of like, if you have a property right now in Rock Creek and you're really on the fence, all right, do we list it? Do we hang on to it? What should we do? You have all the options. They bring you over, and then you're like, hey, rents this. You have this in equity. Yep. Here's your option.
You both outcomes in the long run. You also got to think about like when you rent out a property, we got to make sure that you have enough difference between your mortgage and your rental price, because you do get taxes at the end of the year. And I want to see you win. I want you to win with this market.
Right.
Being able to buy another house is wonderful, and being able to have 2 doors is wonderful. But I want you to make money off of it. I don't want you, and I will tell you that. I will always tell you that. Like if I tell you it's a terrible idea to sell and you should hold it, I will tell you.
Yep. Look, at the end of the day, that's why you are a top producer and you're such an advocate for your clients, especially military. I mean, we both have our strong military connections. So Teilor, as always, thank you so much for hopping on. I can't wait to see what happened with your listing on our next video. So if you are thinking, before we go, if you're thinking about buying or selling, you need to reach out to my friend Teilor and she'll get it done for you.
Sure will.